It's one of the great features of this. It's a quarrel. It's a definite quarrel that information, especially from the higher energy sources, despite their reputation for scale and vast money and power, they are among the most feeble and in many cases incompetent communicators of their own things that is to be imagined. So much information does not get out that would be in their favor.
Absolutely.
You ever have any opportunity to talk with them about this?
2012, I had this conversation. And unfortunately, at that time, their preference was to do exactly that, just stay below the radar. So the conversation is no longer owned by those who have the information. It's owned by those who prefer to have an ulterior motive to take down Canada's energy industry. And so that's what they have been very successful at doing.
That's the center of my interest in all of this, is how long and with how much skill the attack on a primary resource of a first world power has been conducted with great brio, very little skepticism from the general media at all. Mm-hmm. And it has got to the point where it is almost established thought that it is a virtuous thing to shut down a whole industry.
Yeah. It is, it's sad, and it's interesting that it is so specific to Canada.
That's very good.
And it is, I'll give you an example. I'm on social media. I have conversations. And one of the questions that I've had to ask time and time again is, give me a Canadian example. And they can't give it back. So they come back with a bunch of other rhetoric, and I say, give me a Canadian example. And I just keep asking that question. And so finally they just disappear into no man's land and on social media. So when you put your foot down and you insist on a Canadian example, they can't give it to you. In British Columbia, we have extremely high environmental standards, and I applaud those. I think it's wonderful. My backyard, my rural area, is where we recreate. Prior to flying out here, I was out camping. So when I can show people how we have taken, in the province of British Columbia, an industry that has this reputation and a province that requires the environmental standards that it has, and married the two together, it's important for people to see that it is very possible. It's just, it takes the willpower of the elected officials to marry those two together.